Okay, okay. Yeah, we are honored to welcome Mr. Myoin, Executive Director of Smile Myanmar, as our guest speaker. With his expertise and first-hand experience, Mr. Myoin will offer us invaluable insight into the current landscape in Myanmar. Moderating our session today is Professor Dr. Kamarulzaman Askanda, or Dr. Zam, okay, Zam. A respected expert in Southeast Asian conflict studies and a professor at University of Sains, Malaysia, who will bring a guiding perspective to our discussion. Please feel free to share your questions and reflections throughout the session. This promises to be an enlightening conversation, so let's make the most of this time together to deepen our understanding and explore ways we can support Myanmar's journey toward peace and stability. Thank you once again for being here, and now let's begin. Okay, I'd like to invite today's moderator, Dr. Zhang. Okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sung Ho, for this. It's our 120th Thursday Forum. My gosh,
Right.
I didn't realize that we've been together for so long. 120th.
We chose the Thursday because of Zam. Okay, you recommend the Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Originally it was supposed to be a Wednesday forum.
Exactly right. You said
But Wednesday night I've got class, so I told them no, Wednesday no good, Thursday is better. Thank you, Sung Ho, for accommodating me. Uh well today we have our guest speaker, Mr. Myo Win. I think most of us are familiar with Myo Win. How are you, Myo Win?
Good. I'm
Good.
good. Yeah.
He is the ever smiling face of Smile Myanmar. He's always yeah, always smiling. I like that. I like that name. Smile Myanmar. I think that is something, something very very inspiring. Because smile is always very infectious. And looking at Myo Win smiling also always makes us want to smile. So spread the smile. It's always very good to have Myo Win from Smile Myanmar with us. So tonight, he will be talking about Myanmar, Burma in transition, latest updates and perspective. And I like the title, especially because it says in transition, because in transition, meaning that we are going somewhere, and I think it's going to be very interesting listening to Myo Win. In transition is also very positive, and hopefully we are moving somewhere better, transforming to a better situation. So in transition tonight, because unfortunately, because all the things that have been happening in Myanmar, Burma over the last 3 years have not really been, how do you say it, very very transformative in nature. We still have the military junta in power. We still have a lot of issues. We still have some sort of like apathy, from the community here in Southeast Asia. ASEAN is still insisting on the 5-point consensus, and nothing much has been going on. In fact, I would say that over the last few months, things have even gotten worse, with a lot of attacks on various communities. And I mean, you hear incidences here and there, so nothing positive has been going on, these past few months. But again, let's try to be positive. Myanmar in transition. Myo Win, please tell us where it is going to, and we look forward to hear from you. So I will give you, well, how long do you need? 45 minutes to 1 hour to present, and then we can have our usual question and answer session after this. Welcome,
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, and good morning, from United States. And also good evening from the in Asia. Yeah. Yes, I'm really really happy to share about that and the recent, different step, how we are going and moving. I'm just not pessimistic and optimistic, but I'm trying to be realistic, So that's more sensible, to aware of you all, and then more like how we can be consider for in the future for the even policy engagement, and I also that yes, since military, I don't want to say a little bit, for started in military coup, I my nature, in Rohingya anti settlement or anti Rohingya anti Muslim movement. Many people talk about since 2012. People used to say that, no, I don't say that. Oh, please not use the term, since 2012. But the issue is like more motivated before 2012, So that's a racist movement, So after that, this happening, is realizing based on this, all the background idea and, racist movement and, racist propaganda to, pushing to 2012 to be a big conflict in Rakhine. And I don't say since 2012 that I have to be happening in conflict in 2012. Yes, and then, of course, the Rohingya genocide and legitimizing in 2017, 2017. But it is not started in 2017, Of course, all the genocide and, ethnic cleansing are are many years back, they have well prepared and, even making a law, everything, before they're doing for, even since I can say since back in 1970 about that, that move to 2017 is like physically for genocide, So that I would like to highlight it. That's before the pre-coup, So we hope to so-called under the name of transition to democracy particular for our Nobel laureates for Aung San Suu Kyi, a lot of hope, people of hope, including me, we are really admirable. I was very young, So she is very famous, women in the world, So because of her nonviolence activism, and then she is struggling a lot. And then, unfortunately, she got a power and under the name of so-called transition to democracy and so-called reconciliation. So she neglected for all who are terrorized. That's one of I like to back highlighting some point. And also 2017 under her administration. Of course, she's not doing herself. Of course, this is the military is doing. But she is not showing any sympathize for people who are terrorized. Even in a lot of her usage are, victim blaming, That's really we got a shot publicly. And then globally she lose her moral leadership power, like soft power, how she lose it, And I noticed that and then Gambia against Burma in ICJ for universal jurisdiction. So even we don't know where is Gambia originally, in the beginning or before that, this issue, So, but we noticed that, Gambia is that as a human rights defender, I'm really appreciate, Gambia taking, some role, They also use their own soft power and then to take for Burma on behalf of Organization of Islamic Conference, so OIC. So she defended together with the military in ICJ. She said we never done for genocide, But anyway, So that's 2018, I think, beginning about that, So I mean, and then she make it popularity and stand with the Aung San Suu Kyi, stand with Aung San Suu Kyi. So she's showing with two generals and together and a lot of billboards all over this country. She's showing with together with military, a lot of billboard, in many cities you can find out. So that's her image was really, really, she very much close with the military. But her thought is like she trying to collaborate with military and changing the country. This is her idea. But I don't know. And 2018 and 2019, yes, COVID started and she's good manageable. But people die, a lot of people die. We have no really, how can I say, accountable, how many people die and, but anyway, we met a lot of people die under the so-called democratic transition. But this is not only Burma, but also globally, many people like happening, yes, of course, but I aware of that. But in 2020 election, yes, she landslide winner again. In that point, the military accused election fraud. That's very similar in United States at that time. Good, very similar time in period is like, in Burma, little bit earlier than the United States. So the election was, so now election again in United States, So me, right, that's now 4 years, So again, so me, United States also a little bit, this issue is that happen, even January 6th, it was in 2020, 20, So mean that 2021. So mean, my point is that, that's I just a little bit briefly describe for the what happened before the coup. And then they are not really, even though she said the reconciliation negotiation in this accused, allegation by the military and by the other military-backed party, former ruling party, So they accuse that, but she don't care because of our election law made by the military before she took the power. So she didn't change. It is not really superpower for election. Commission can be superpower to make a decision. Nobody can argue according to the law of the election law, That's not fair enough, So, but she never prepared to change this law when she got a power. She can change a lot because she has a lot of big power, but unfortunately she didn't. She also used this law to, defend herself. Oh, the law is already clear, election commission endorsed already. It's fine. We don't need to care about what you are, whatever you argue or accusation or allegation, So but reality is like military is with power, But 2021 showing that election fraud, and military coup and country will be chaos back. And then yes, that is like precondition of military coup and just coup. And I like to be focused on after coup, like peaceful demonstration. About 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, military started to be violently, crept out, and many people died, killed, arrested, die in detention center within one night, a lot of people, I was very lived with fear. And I also, NGO are targeted, and then everything are chaos. So maybe almost movement are a little bit shut off and go to the underground movement. So Aung San Suu Kyi and all the member of her cabinet and her party and some of the human rights people, some of the arrested, So some still, most of them are in jail, So, and many people move out underground movement, and now in Kijangal and newly founded for national unity government by the, former MPs, So 2020 election winner people they move out to the ethnic area, and then some of them in outside Myanmar, and they founded so-called NUG and CRPH, like shadow government and shadow parliament, and then shadow consultative council, so-called NUCC, three branches of power, they make it, So I mean, this is like, very shadow, and they're working remotely. They're not inside, of course. The people of the key driver are not inside, they're in outside, right? So even in fear of that, not only in politicians, but also the people who are working for human rights, people who are working for civil society, people who are working for, activisms are targeted. So many of NGO move out to Thailand, mainly for Bangkok and Chiang Mai and Mesa. Now most of the legitimized NGO settle in Chiang Mai. Mesa is like borderline. Borderline is like many people who live, without document. So they are in Mesa, but who has a document, they move to Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is like easier to manage to meet. Many donor institution, donor organization, or international NGO also move out from the country and settle in Chiang Mai. So Chiang Mai is like now, it's like a Burmese NGO hub right now. So hub, no? And then Mesa is mostly for people who are flee the first place when they move up, So Thailand policy is also a little bit tricky, So people are very much, or people are how can I say, it's a little bit suffering, in there too, a lot of police corruption, they cannot move out. When they move out somewhere, is police take it and you pay money and you can sort it out, somebody. So I mean, that's everyday life in Mesa in right now. And I like to be, of course, like me also, I'm also forced to move out, forced to flee, because of not so much survive. For many NGO leaders are also targeted, so I'm also have to be moved out. I was spent 2 months in Bangkok, and I moved to United States, I got a visa, and everything apply in, in 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 Bangkok, embassy in Bangkok, but United States really helpful and really glad, I easy to sort it out, a lot of bureaucracy barrier, human rights teams, and political section helping me a lot. So to overcome for this, a lot of bureaucracy barrier, So I mean, I came with J1 for the University of Oklahoma, and like me, in many people similar condition, some of a lot of people move out by the parole visa. A lot of people move out with J1 visa, and not only to United States, but also some Europe country as well. So some people move out in some Schengen country like Germany, like in Holland, and some of the Scandinavian country, they also help a lot. So that's in the 2021, I just say. 2022, like NUG and NUCC organized so-called PDF, People Defense Forces. So globally, Burmese community fundraise to get the weapons, and to fighting back. So all trained by the ethnic arms group. So ethnic insurgent group, they are trained, and I also a lot of battle started 2022 to 2023 up to now. everywhere, So now 1/3 of total area under the management of occupation of the ethnic groups, ethnic arms group, and together with PDF, different PDF. So some of the liberated area now bigger and bigger. So the problem is nearly 1 million people flee, or displaced because of this civil war. And since last year, 2023, 2023 October up to now, in the whole northern Shan state and Rakhine and northern Shan state, and then Rakhine means Arakan state, and then bit fighting with Burmese military and ethnic armed group, and a lot of people are suffering and displaced, burning down the bombs, by the military, by their airstrike, so kill many people. I think so far we can know some of the figure is that more than that, definitely, approximately nearly 20,000 people died in counted one, but we don't know if the reality is, but no side are transparent, So military never show their soldier, how many soldiers die. Similarly, the top ethnic arms group and PDF never transparent to how many people die by their side. Of course, a lot of people are villagers or people that just civilian are dying a lot and move, displaced, and many people like women, and kids and women, children, and then adult people not move easier to move. Those people are bit suffering, not enough time to run away. And yes, also between that, different accusation or different allegation each other, who like ethnic arms group and so-called PDF said that those people are, information transferred to military side. So those people also arrested and killed. This side, other side too. Oh, those people are contacted to the, PDF, so-called PDF and ethnic armed group. So they also arrested or killed, So people are really, really, really suffering also under the battle, So that's really issue. But in the context of international uh, community, for them like ASEAN leaders not invited anymore for Burmese current ruling military. They're not invited as to represent on Myanmar. But alternatively, in different meeting, they are invited. For example, like ASEAN, Air Force meeting. So Burmese Air Force Chief of Staff, Air Force Chief of Staff participated. So similarly, so I mean, different table, ASEAN allowed to ASEAN invited to Burmese representative, but in the main ASEAN leader meeting, they are not invited to Burma. So that also a little bit also controversial and a little bit tricky management of ASEAN. And ASEAN 5-point consensus is never accomplished, never done, never be implemented. So there is no enforcement mechanisms came up. I don't know in Malaysia will be chair in ASEAN 2025. So of course this year is Laopedia. Laopedia is very influenced by the China, So not much initiated for Burma issue, So that's I'd like to be highlighted for in the 2012, 2022, and Burmese government Burmese, ruling military is like approach, very close approach, with the Russia. So they have strong relationship with Russia. So I think in this point, we are always rely on China in the previous, especially for Myanmar military. So I think China are not so happy, so close with Russia. And then so China is like supported a lot of ethnic armed group, for example, like Three Brothers Alliance, AA, MNDAA, and TNLA. Three group are closely working with China. So China is like green light to fight. So these three alliance fight to Myanmar military, and they took a lot of occupation for northern Shan State up to Lasho. Lasho is a like big city, So now under the TNLA management. So now Burmese government negotiated diplomacy with China back again, and then they have some agreement each other, and now China government again for forcefully for these three brother, please go back, for your own place, something like that. That's a big tension between. So again for very close relationship with Myanmar military and China again. So China now trying to be negotiated, and now it's like in Thailand it's like initiating dialogue between different stakeholders. So that's happening. In this regard, um, like internationally, of course, the U.S. and Europe and a lot of targeted sanction who very close with the Myanmar military, and that's also in everyday, uh, uh, more people are targeted. So that's really good point. I think for targeted sanction is like very important, who are the military official, and then who are very closely working with the business people, like so-called cronies, So those people are targeted sanctions, United States and Europe and UK. So those EU, UK, and US are really targeted sanctions. That's also happening. At the same time, more Chinese investment are coming in and also forced to initiated and started, immediately for all the project under the management of military. So now it's like more chaos in the northern Burma. It's so-called Kachin state area. Kachin Independent Army also defeated to Myanmar military, and then they also occupy a lot more area, compared with previous conditions. So Burmese military also fighting with the different. I'd like to highlight in Rakhine State, in Rohingya, are also significantly challenging. I use the term like Rohingya between tiger and dragon. Now fighting with AA, Arakan Army, and Myanmar military. I said, Tiger and Dragon Rohingya are Myanmar military also forced to recruit that to Rohingya in their army. So they have no choice sometimes, they live under the gun, And so that's a Arakan army also hated to Rohingya. And also when Rohingya, Arakan army occupied some area, Rohingya are suffering kill, torture, and displaced. So that issue also very big issue, but nobody admitted for their brutality of the so Rohingya technically previous genocide, of course, not only Burmese military but also mainly Rakhine community also worked together with Burmese military to do the genocide. And And now it's like Arakan Army is the people of Rakhine. They also occupy a lot of area or Rohingya area. They are under them for Rohingya under them right now. So they also hated and killed and a lot of brutality. So another second wave of genocide by the AA, Arakan Army, again. So that's bad, so-called democratic, so-called revolutionaries. If somebody argue for AA, Arakan Army, for its brutality, those people are targeted because of everybody agree, oh, AA are fighting for Myanmar military. So that's why we have to support to AA. Regardless of Rohingya are suffering or people are suffering, they don't care. So those issues are so-called nationalistic mindset and racist ideology are also still exists, even though people are doing in the revolution. I'd like to highlight for last point, right, almost 1 hour, right? So the last point is like now again for another wave coming back for NGO campaign by the military. So many NGO are suffering, and many NGO who are not registered, who are not but the military, their accusation or their allegation is all the fund distribution to these revolutionists or so-called people defense forces through NGO. They thought that, So that's why they are also targeted to NGO. So many NGO members are arrested, NGO who are working at NGO. So now it's like big challenge. People don't want to work for NGO. If work, they are potentially arrested, even though they are doing nothing, for any revolution movement. So direct crisis in my institution, I moved out, but my organization still running inside, so very low profile. So one of my staff husband, he is also working in different NGO, not our NGO. So he was arrested last month in 9th of the October. So the police or military intelligence came together to her home at the night time, and then they are arrested. Even at home, they do their brutality and asking questions. And luckily, our staff not arrested, but they took all the mobile phone of the house. So her phone was also took by the military intelligence. So this is her phone was working with our institution. So we also a little bit challenge. Oh, our all staff are stressful, and then she is hiding somewhere, even though she's not arrested. Maybe coming back and asking or whatever. She's hiding somewhere, and then other staff also very fear. So they're not really very hesitant to come into the office, So a lot of things, So that NGO also funded by one of our donor, So that's their fear is like now it's huge. So we are trying to healing them, but we are trying to be sorted out our own, not directly affected to us, but even though those impact are very negatively to us as well. So people wanted to be resign from the working from NGO, right? So that's another crisis. There are 9 NGO members are arrested within this October 1st to November 1st, within 1 month. 9 NGO member of 9 NGO in Yangon, in Yangon are arrested. They so-called under the name of NGO campaign. So many NGO people People who working at NGO, they are on hiding, or they are on, move somewhere, relocation, something like that, So that's a recent big crisis. So luckily, there is no our staff are not arrested yet, but they have a fear, and also very much, chaos. That's the condition. That is also another issue for even 2024 right now. So military said that they will do election in 2025. I don't know it is how will be realized or not. But he said that military leader said that he will do election in 2025, but he's doing his own census. We don't know. It's census is UNFPA not participated for this time. UNFPA not participated. So census data are how reliable, we don't know. He said that 31 million people already done. I think it is impossible because half of the Burmese area are now in battle. How he can do for, total population is just 55 million, maybe a little bit more, 55 million. So he said that he have done for within 1 month, 31 million have done. So, but no witness, how these data are accurate. Many people are moved out. Many people are displaced. How he can do it, Many villages are hundreds of villages, not the many villages, maybe thousands of villages based on that, because of now battlefield is like, in hundreds of township are battlefield right now. So maybe thousands of villages are burning down, and people are displaced, so except Rangoon and main city, except main city, so many places are fighting, and that's so internationally attention is Burmese not much right now, because we are always problematic. Burmese is always started the problem in 2022. Few months later, Ukraine's war happened. So international community attention moved to the Ukraine. I think Afghanistan, Afghan crisis, US moved out from Afghanistan. So all the attention to the Afghanistan, because this is a, major changes, so after a few months, again for Ukraine. Now, after about 1 year of Burmese crisis, of course, Hamas attack to Israel, and Israel's so-called defense war are also chaos. And that's also all global attention moved there, So Obama is not much attention globally right now, because compared with this all big crisis, weapons, war, and Middle East, Israeli and Palestinian, even now it's like more than that, for the regionally issue is happening, So Ukraine war also, they're very important strategic US and Europe and UK together blocking for the Russia in the Ukraine war. The same Afghanistan issue, So that's not much attention for Burmese issue. And yes, I know that's other issue also very important, but people are every day, suffering globally. I'm also empathize for people are suffering, not only from Burma, but also all the crisis area, even in Palestinian people, even in Israeli people, but Palestinian people are now most suffering, even now it's a border in other area too, so there is no justice are coming, so globally, of course, this issue is like Hamas that people are suffering. Yeah, see, it's like children, women, even in, a lot of hospitals are, bombed, So all the like a issue is war crimes issue, So in Burma, ICJ genocide case, Burma's against Gambia against Burma case, it still keep going on. And also people are trying for ICC as well. So this all the international mechanism are doing that. And then but I think I'd like to be highlighted for some of the organization in ASEAN really working for Burma, for the Malak and Asian Justice Coalition and APHR, ASEAN Parliamentarian for Human Rights. They are also closely working for Burma as well. And a lot of international community are closely working still for Burma, and for that's currently happening. And I stop here my explanation and not really formal presentation, but I'm trying to be explain what happening and update and but another things like I don't know the policy for United States in 2025. That's not much clear. Even in last period of Mr. Trump, even he don't know where is Burma. In the meeting, I noticed that where is Burma? He said he don't know that where is Burma. So his attention maybe not his mind in for Burma at all. So but I don't know. But US they have already mechanism for State Department. They have a different mission. Asian. So I mean that will be enlighten him. And of course, we need to do a lot of advocacy and lobby issue as well. That is also important. And yes, and also, but China also a lot of mega project in to the mainland Southeast Asia. So that Burma is strategic position. So that's so Burma they wanted to be under their supervision, wanted that's China. So people are a lot of Chinese project take all the resources from that what they work on that. So that also another challenge. So US policy and other also concern. So that's my presentation. Thank you so much. Maybe I'm happy to be respond your question and any concern. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Myowen. Good update about the situation in Myanmar. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say actually, because I agree with you about the overview about the situation in Myanmar, and nothing much seems to be going on. Uh, you know, well, I want to open the floor to our participants of this forum, but what they are thinking, what kind of questions they want to ask you. Maybe I can start, with a couple of things. What is it that the Myanmar people wants the international community to do? Okay. Then, especially people in Southeast Asia. I mean, you mentioned already that there are a few groups that have been working very hard, to advocate, to end the problem, to improve the situation in Myanmar. Uh, but but things have not been progressing well, even if there are a lot of, uh, things that have been done, especially since the governments have been, not doing anything impressive, for Myanmar. So my question is, what does the people of Myanmar wants the international community to do, especially ASEAN? I know that people are talking that we need to go beyond the 5-point consensus, which was a failure, which was an embarrassment actually, if you ask me. But what can ASEAN do? What should ASEAN do? And then I'm asking you also because Malaysia will be the next chair of ASEAN, and I know that Malaysia has always been very vocal about the situation in Myanmar, especially in regards to the treatment of the Rohingya in Myanmar. We have always been very vocal. So it'll be interesting to see what the Malaysian government, will do next year when it becomes the chair of ASEAN. But what should we do? Tell us, what should we do?
Right. I think the maybe ASEAN can do for both sides, from current outside shadow government and also to the military. I think both sides to get a chance to do the advocacy and to the trying to dialogue issue. My point is that, but the issue, both sides are relative, So this side also thought that they will fight to this military and completely. It is impossible. My thought, that is not really impossible. Burmese military is really, really huge. And then, of course, the support now is like supported by Russia and China, So it is not easy to, completely destroy for Myanmar military, because there is no, weapon support by the West community, not like Ukraine. Condition is not like Ukraine. Ukraine, US supply a lot of weapons, Europe support, but there is no support for Burma. So impossible. So that although I'm not really supported, I'm just like human rights person and I'm just like, non-violence person. So I'm not so much support this idea too, but not easy to be, finished for Myanmar military. At the same time, Myanmar military also cannot be collapsed or abolished or cannot be completed, all the insurgent group. It is impossible too, So all the international player, even in China for the two-way, he also supply to Myanmar military in different way. At the same time, he also supply different support from the different ethnic arms group. So you see, it's a playing. And that's similarly a different institution of the different countries. Some like to be, definitely have to be for dialogue. All the conflict without sitting together cannot be resolved. That's our way. That both sides, they are struggling. Military also said that they are terrorist organization for this so-called shadow government. And shadow government also said, we have no dialogue with you. You are brutality and you are pathetic, something like that, something. So meaning there is no space between them. I think ASEAN can make a space, something that will be moved forward, So that will be the ultimate goal, Maybe later we can do it like, different mechanism for accountability issue, But at least we have making the space by ASEAN. That would be grateful, I think. That's
Okay, thank you. Can we get questions from the floor? Yes, always Mikio does not disappoint, when we call for volunteers. Yes, please, Mikio. How are you, Mikio?
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear,
good,
Mikio. Go ahead.
Good.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Myo Wing. Long time not to see you. I'm very happy that you look very well in the US. Although there are a lot of pressure, maybe living in the US. Anyway, thank you very much for your presentation, especially the current situation in Myanmar. So what I wanted to ask you already asked by Zam. But anyway, so ASEAN, ASEAN's role still there's a potential role for ASEAN, right? Especially maybe next year when Malaysia will be the chair country of ASEAN. Yeah? So something may happen next year, but I don't know. And what is planning on Malaysian side. And now what I want to ask is, how do I say? Something a bit theoretical, sorry, a bit theoretical question. Kind of, according to maybe the conflict management, and there is this theory, ripe moment. And maybe in the beginning, both sides engage in armed struggle, and both sides may be exhausted, right? Exhausted. And then both sides have no option but to start a negotiation. So still this ripe moment, yeah, and has not been reached yet, right? And according to this theory, so there should be three conditions. I think one is the mutually hurting stalemate. This is both sides totally existed. And then the more they continue the struggle, then the more hard, getting hard, both sides. Yeah? So this is called mutually hurting stalemate. Then another second one is a valid spokesperson. Each side, both sides has a legitimate person, spokesperson, and the third one is the way out, actual way out. Yeah? So these three things are considered important. So but anyway, so maybe as for the mutually hurting Steve May, so just now you mentioned, and Myanmar military is so powerful, right? And there is no way for the resistance movement, PDF side, PDF, People Defense Forces, to militarily defeat, right? But on the other hand, I sometimes hear kind of the area of control by PDF and other anti-government groups are kind of slowly expanding, yeah? Expanding. Maybe from the northern part, maybe go, coming down to the south, yeah, and something. So this is something interesting, and also because in the current crisis, how do I say? Previously, the fighting is basically between Myanmar military forces, Tatmadaw, and ethnic armed groups, right? So the Tatmadaw mostly representing the majority, Burma people, and the ethnic minority like Kachin or Karen people. But now in this crisis, majority Burma people are involved, yeah? And as the PDF, People Defense Forces. So maybe this is something maybe new on the side of the military force. And in this case, and I guess, I think the soldiers feel rather reluctant to attack and their own people, right? So, so I'm just wondering, maybe defection from the military side, and to what degree defections are take place, maybe because of this situation. And because in the beginning of the crisis, people are always talking, and increased number of the soldiers are now changing the side, and defection taking place. And maybe so far the highest ranking defense and defected person, that maybe the lieutenant colonel, or I don't know, something like. So to what degree this defection is continuing? I'm just curious. And also maybe related to this one, from this year, military, Myanmar military started conscription, forced conscription, right? So it look like, and people, not only male, but the female are being conscripted, right? And yeah, so I want to know more then in this case, and it's quite difficult, I think, and for those people being conscripted. and they have to fight, and against their own people. So so maybe by so doing, I think maybe this is maybe can be considered as the kind of process, or maybe realizing the situation, maybe mutually hurting stalemate, because maybe eventually, maybe on the military side, maybe there are very few people who want to fight. So is there such a prospect that the military side maybe kind of the militarily neutralized? Then in that case, and there's no choice for them to seriously thinking about negotiation with the national unity government. And in that case, maybe definitely there might be a mediator, and ASEAN, hopefully ASEAN may play the role maybe next year, but also maybe China is also should be in a position, because China has a lot of economic interest now within Myanmar. Then as long as this kind of fighting continue, and its own idea of BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, and this is something not positive for its own project. So that China should have the motivation to more actively, and intervene in this conflict. So I would be happy. So if you have your idea, and share your idea on this issue. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mikio. I'll let Myo Win try to answer your long question. I might have some ideas also after that, but I'll let Myo Win go ahead first. Please, Myo Win.
Okay, I think that's really very much critical. Yes. Yes, there is no theories practice at ground. That's really major another challenge. That's and then not only for the situation in both sides now, right? If you do the dialogue, if you encourage the whatever initiate it, not only for two sides right now, but also all the ethnic group. Now it's like occupation. Yes, you already talk about that. That's ethnic arms group. They are occupied areas are now bigger and bigger. So they have a more power right now. So without their participation, all the dialogue may not be happen. So even in PDF or NUG or CRPH, they are under the protection of different ethnic group, different arms group. So they're not own independent area, So they are they are now under the management of different ethnic arms group where they live it. So mainly in this point, I think for all the ethnic arms group and also NUG and CRPH and then military have to be sitting down together. That would be realistic point of view, I think. So of course, yes, the majority of PDF are also Burmese majority. Yes, they are not the ethnic. But in also there is in also PDF, although different group, little bit problematic if we talk about for this even People Defense Forces. So majority of PDF are under the management of Ministry of Defense or National Unity Government. But some of the group also initiated their own People Defense Forces, not under the management of National Unity Government. So sometimes conflicting between this independent People Defense Forces and under the Ministry of Defense of National Unity Government. They also fighting sometimes. So chaos, So a lot of problematic. That's why people got it. Weapons. Their mind is different. That's why I never agree to hold for weapons in our hand. That will be our mind different, you know. We have to be showing our power. We have to be, so people train as, I'd like to say that Burmese military trained by the Persistent, you know, Persistent administration, you know, in the beginning of Burma. It's, I mean, the root of the Burmese military started by the Japanese Pacific, you know, management. So they are very brutality. Similarly, this legacy also trains so-called PDF too. They also brutality too. So sometimes they fight each other and they arrested each other. So that's internal as well, conflict as well. So, you know, so that's also another. So I mean, all the stakeholders should be together in this practice on the theory, you know, and maybe that is conflict management theory or conflict transformation theory or conflict resolution theory, or, you know, that have to be in practice. I'd like to be in the temporarily, like to use for conflict transformation practice, you know, should be, because the transformation is easier, resolution or it's a little bit difficult, you know, transformation. So I mean that's a lot of international technical, international, you know, conflict experts should be involved in the whole process. That's my encouragement, right? So that's, I mean, the opposition, they're also not so united, you know, so bullying each other, you know, that's, I'm really shocked for mentality of our people. I like to go back for Burmese Buddhists are very peaceful. People think that. So Burmese Buddhists, not so much peaceful, very aggressive. We train to be a racist, long time, you know. We live under propaganda. So that's, we are really hardliner, you know. So not easy to get, even whenever I get a chance, I would like to talk them for about peace table. They don't want to use the term peace as well. So both sides, I mean, so peace, no none. If you talk about for non-violent struggle, you will be enemy of them. They believe that they will fight back, they will kill them until they surrender. They don't know how many people die. They don't care how many people are suffering, you know. That's like, I'm really shocked, and I'm really, you know, very overwhelming my own, you know. People think very much aggressive because of their emotional, you know. So many people die, not only die, but also a lot of people are now disabled right now in the impact of the war. You know, there's no good, you know, proper treatment at the jungle area, you know. So that's really happening, you know. Yes, military coup, that they initiated that chaos, but now it's like everybody is not safe enough in Burma right now. So of course, if theory practice should be present with the international expert, of course, also need to do, ASEAN and international community can do some way to do awareness, not only for military side, but also other opposition side too. I like to be encouraged that more like awareness is the most important, you know, to get back, you know, to realize their own condition. They're now blind, making blind themselves what's happening. And they are only thinking what we wanted to do. So that's really, really challenge, I think, and both sides. Hopefully, I think you maybe not directly fix on your point, but anyway, I'm just over, you know, general view on my comments. I'm really appreciate for your really thinking and theoretical approach definitely important. Definitely, yes.
Right, thank
Okay,
you.
okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mewin. I know that Alison raised her hand, but before I give the screen to Alison, I just want to also give a bit, my observation about this right moment, theory, as mentioned by Mikio. And I think one important thing that Mikio mentioned is that the right moment theory also involves this aspect called the mutually hurting stalemate. Okay, so there's supposed to be a stalemate, and that both sides are mutually hurting, and this should then theoretically force them to go to the negotiating table and try to find some kind of solution. Well, in theory, it looks very nice, but in reality, that's not how it is. I would argue that it is not working simply because the military, the current government of Myanmar is not hurting at all. I was about to say hurting enough, but then I would say hurting at all because they are so strong. They control, most of the use of violence and use of weapons in Myanmar. Even if they have lost maybe some areas to the ethnic armed organizations, but then again they are totally in control of the situation in Myanmar. So when they are not hurting, uh, why should they negotiate? Why should they negotiate? And simply because the opposition is not strong enough. The opposition is not strong enough, which brings me to a very difficult approach. Do we then improve the capacity of the opposition? And some would say that we need to give weapons to the opposition, to the NUG, to the ethnic armed organizations, so that they can fight the military. But then, what will happen is that the civil war will become even worse. And then some people would argue that, well, actually, for things to get better, it has to get worse a bit first, and then we can get better. But then I'm just worried about the cost, the human cost, the sufferings that will happen, if we go through this particular approach. So it's there, but then I have to say that we have to be cautious about using this particular approach. And of course, the oppositions, they want to be strong enough to be taken seriously. And we know that many groups fighting insurgencies within the region have actually worked on the basis of strength, military strength, or their armed movement strength, and that has been used to not only safeguard their interests, but to also pursue, whatever it is that they want. In the Bangsamoro, the MILF, the MNLF, there are thousands, in terms of capacity of their combatants. In Aceh, at one time, they have 12,000, well-trained combatants. In southern Thailand, the Patani people also, have their own military strength, fighting the government. So all have been working from a position of military strength in order to push, the governments to accept them as valid, partners at the negotiating table. And to an extent that has worked, but in Myanmar, I think you need a lot of firepower to fight the government, and the situation will get much worse, if you go through this. And then I was also curious that Myo Win talk about transformation, which is useful. I also favor transformation instead of management or resolution, actually, because I see transformation as an approach that can work not only for short-term change, but also for long-term changes and transformation. And one of the element of transformation is the actor transformation and group and personal transformation. Basically, meaning that, for things to change, the perpetrators, the main actors have to change. The main actors have to change. And then if they cannot be replaced, with another actor that is more prone to peace, then maybe, we have to start thinking about making changes from within, making changes from within. And that, I think, is something, that we, can and should consider. Can there be changes from within, the current military, in two ways. One is maybe to conduct a counter coup, some military people not happy with the current regime, toppling, the current regime, and then installing themselves, and then with the hope that this next set of leaders will see that the current policies is not working, that they have to be talking to the various groups and start to have proper democratic election and all those things, and move things towards a better position. It's either that, or you have a situation where after some time, these people, will take over, when the current leadership is old and retired, and then you have people, new leaders with a better view of things, but that will take some time. But this is also part of transformation. So this is also something that maybe we should consider. We should consider both in the short term and the long term. Sorry for my long answer, but mutually hurting stalemate. Well, a lot of people will just hurt even more. So okay, Alison, please.
Thank you, Professor Sam. Thank you, Milwin, for your wonderful presentation. I have to say, every time I hear from Myanmar people talking about their struggle, it always feels heavy to me. And I just wanted to start with saying that I support the Myanmar people, I stand with you guys. I support justice and transformation in your country, and hope that one day we will see that realized in the Myanmar soil. My question is more related to looking into the future. I also think a little bit whether my question might be a little bit naive or immature, because people are still fighting on the ground, people are still bleeding and suffering. So why looking into the future? But this is my little bit of my personal concern, because sorry, I forgot to properly introduce myself at the beginning of this seminar. So my name is Alison Lee. I work with CPCS based in Cambodia, and I'm originally from Hong Kong. I've done a lot of youth work in Hong Kong while I was still in my hometown. Now working in CPCS in Cambodia. So my question is, what are some tips or lessons that you can share in relations to like training or equipping the younger generation in, sustaining this kind of spirit of nonviolence resistance? Because knowing that it is not going to, the great mission is not going to complete in a few years. It won't go away next year by the election or anything. Although we want peace and justice to happen soon, but it's likely that this struggle is going to last for longer years, which means there's a need to work with the younger generation to pass on the spirit of resistance, self-determination to them. I think many processes in Asia also share similar of struggle. Like there's this most committed generation being they're fully involved in their struggle, but then when they move abroad, for example, or also like in the Myanmar context, a lot of people, due to the violence, moved overseas. And then perhaps some years later, they give birth to the babies, and then the babies grow up and then become the second, third, fourth generations. Yeah, so what are some tips and lessons that the Myanmar people can offer in, keeping this passion, keeping this spirit alive in order to, sustain the movement, sustain this struggle for, I don't know what is this called, for the betterhood of the Myanmar nation though.
Right, right. Yes, can I, right? Hello?
Yeah, yes, go ahead, Myowen, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, I don't know what happened. That anyway. So yes, I'm really glad that the CBCS is one of the resource. I'd like to highlight that one of the resource in the beginning of 2000, about 2010, right? So I think CBCS like not so strange for Burma, I think, because I was trained by the CBCS for Asian research training in 2010, I think, right? So it was the MR, and so so that I really glad that in about 2005 to 2010, between that, we have done a lot of nonviolence movement and nonviolence training. So but after 2011, not much for that movement is going on, because of we shifted to transition to democracy, and we mostly focus on human rights, and also we train to be a dialogue issue. But I think for now, I think we do more invest for more awareness and collaboration with internationally or regionally or different expert NGOs or institutions work together for nonviolence, recultivation of the nonviolence movement. And awareness is very important, I think. So nobody want to listen inside Burma for nonviolence, because they also under the propaganda for both sides. Military also now newly established the law for everybody for under 35 have to be served in their military at least 2 years. So that forced recruitment everywhere. So people are hiding who are those age people. And some people are forced to recruit that, and they are going to the front, they die because they have no experience. They just only train for 3 months, so not really enough train, so those people even not really forced recruit that, they are not really feeling well, and then they are really suffering. That's the same time in opposition group. If you talk about for peace, you will be the betraying the country, something like that they said. So meaning no space for. So nonviolence awareness, peace ideology should be recultivate. Different awareness need to do it. I think CBCS is one of the good connection with many NGO in Burma. So maybe you can initiate. That's one of the source, So me, that is like, my point is that, and moving forward, yes, definitely we need to re-establish or recultivate or reconstruction of the peace movement and peace ideology. Peace movement and peace ideology. And then, so maybe we have to definitely move forward in the future. Without that, our country will be, almost, to be a already failed state. But I mean, but the practically, not really established yet. You know what I mean? So I mean that's not easy to be re-establishment, easily, because of that. Countries are people are very poor, number one. Number two is like now it's like civil war. Civil war is like, making chaos, and also people lose not only for their job, but also all their cultivated land. Now it's the battlefield. We are also agriculture country. So definitely, if we think for future or moving forward or in the progress, we have to make back again for the ideology of peace, non-violence. We have to recultivate reconstruction again. That's my encouragement, Like CBCS is good, Russell, you have a lot of connection with Burmese NGO and civil society group, so long time, a lot of trained by the CBCS Master of Peace program, many alumni in Burma of, so that might respond that. Thank you.
Thank you, Myo.
Thank you. Thank you, Myo, for your answer. We have Ayesa and Sung Ho. Ayesa first, please go ahead.
Thank you. I just like to respond to Allison's concern about younger people maybe losing momentum in supporting, what they want to aspire for, which is freedom in their own country in Myanmar. I've met a lot of young Myanmar people. They are everywhere. They are here in Malaysia, whether they are students or they are working as skilled or non-skilled workers, or they are professionals. They are in Singapore, and many of them are still in the border areas in Thailand or in Myanmar itself. And there is actually an online university done by the NUG. And at one time I was also helping them in teaching some courses, with all these students having no names, but they attend the online classes at the height of the coup d'etat in Myanmar. And it is but normal in any conflict society that have experienced a long protracted conflict, that some of the younger generation may continue to have that fire in them, to support the struggle of their older generation, of their parents and grandparents, while there are also those that maybe will choose the path of survival and continue to try to normalize, to live a normal life. But it doesn't mean that they lose the love for their country. That is why we have this concept of diaspora. And everywhere in the world, whether it's the Achanese or the Bangsamoro people or the Thais from Patani and the people in Myanmar who are all scattered all over the world, in Europe, in the US, there is definitely a very strong diaspora. And I think that fire in them will never lose out, because we all want, people who have been living overseas, what they want is, to go back to their homeland, to rebuild their homeland. So I think it's also good for us to be conscious. It's good that Allison made mention about the young people, because I think young people today are very lucky because they can see the information right away from the internet. And the internet is really the domain of the younger generation. And you will be surprised, like even here in the university, we have a school of computer science and data science. The best students are the Myanmar students. They are very good in mathematics. They're very good in programming. You can ask them to develop an app in a couple of weeks. So they're very smart people and they know what they want, and of course they want freedom for their country.
That's great. That's really great, your contribution. I really appreciated that, Yes, of course, Burmese people talent is not bad, so if they get a chance to learn, if they get a chance, to some opportunity, they definitely, will be the, brighter people, but inside Burma long time, for this, and healthy education system, so people are not really enough capacity to explore their knowledge and to explore their initiative, always controlled by the system, So that's really great. Whenever I saw in Burmese students in all over the world, they are really, really committed and they are really and well enough capacity to enhance for all their commitment, So that I really appreciated that. Thank you so much for your sharing that.
All right. Okay. Sung Ho, please.
Yes, thank you, Myoin, okay, for your presentation. We are here. The purpose of this forum is, as an international community and the international NGO, would like to contribute to the Myanmar, the democratization or return of democratization. But when I learn about the current situation and the continuing of the vicious cycle in Myanmar, sometimes I have a very pessimistic about the future. And I think the between the Thailand and Myanmar, a very similar situation. Okay, like this is continuing of a vicious cycle. So sometimes I think the which side is try to follow the military leadership. Okay, there's something like that. Like Burma try to follow the this the military the leadership of Thailand, or Thailand followed this leadership or something. This is just my impression. And my question is, you mentioned the NGO activities in Myanmar and local NGOs and your NGO. I wonder in Myanmar, the NGO activities are mostly officially recognized, okay, for their activities, or is like particularly the human rights NGOs, maybe they have some difficulties, okay, for their activities. And will you tell us a little more explanation of the NGO activities, local NGOs, okay, and also the international NGOs, what kinds of the area or sector of the international NGOs are allowed to, conduct their activities inside the Myanmar. Okay, I would like to listen to. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. That's really very important question. I think yes, Myanmar NGO condition is like people are working very low profile. Right now, of course, the compare with previous, so always we have a two version. I'd like to be transparent, we have a two version of our vision and mission and, our program statement for international. For international is one version. That is mostly for HUA version. For the government, if you are the registered NGO, government, you need to, every year you have to submit your, report to the government. That version is very minimum version. It is not HUA version. This are currently happening, So without that, if you show all your activities, government, not government, so current military, so they will be inquisitive and so much concern. And then you have to, how this amount, how you spend, a lot of question will be problematic. So donor version, this is all donor know, So the donor version is one. This is like by not the published version. This is internal by email version. We call that email version. And then physical version for government is different. So this is what there is no showing so much in the social media for their movement. That will be definitely for the danger for that. So international NGO in previously settled in Burma a lot, but I noticed that after 2021, I think 99% of international NGO move out. Now they are settled in Thailand. So Thailand benefit a lot, So So, and then they are partnership with the local NGO. And transferring money is very informal way, not formal way, you know. So many NGO also using so-called Hondi system. Hondi system is, you know, some of the person who is like many transfer people, there's a private person, they have to transfer for those person, and those person transfer to Burma. So transition only donor to the bank account in Bangkok. That's all. You don't know how you transfer to bank Thailand to Burma. Internationally, people are not really accepted, but people or INGO, international NGO, aware of this issue. Even in United States Embassy, working the same way, So without that, the very harm, we call it harm reduction, Of course, there's some risks, of course. We have a way, but we have an accountability issue with donor. It's like we have a scrim shoe, banking transfer, and everything we have to attach. And the rate of the, exchange rate, we have to transparent for those days, which date we have to transfer the money. So that's, we are working on that. So area we working on that for mainly for community mobilization. And not much infrastructure right now. And also less few months ago, Burma is flooding many area for that we got some of the funding from different embassy. We are disseminated, at the ground for the delivering food and, different necessary, things to the people who are affected, That also similarly for different NGO and different embassy. So I work with the German embassy in Rangoon. So our team is like deliver a lot of, relief, a project for a short-term project, supported by the German embassy. So we are delivered that, so of course, emergency issue we are working on, NGO and INGO work together. And then thirdly, for the human rights issue, we are working on. And fourthly, for networking among the different civil society group. That's very important because some people are hiding, some people are displaced. We're not easy to get access, So many international NGO is supported for that networking and network strategy, and also digital literacy issue. International NGO also working because of the physically working is so difficult right now for the condition. Some area we are not easy to move, easy to go, easy to reach. So now digital literacy is very important. And then, so we are also a lot of international NGO focusing on digital literacy issue, working on that. And not much infrastructure at all after this military coup. And yes, mostly supported for soft power. And also some of the firm by the international NGO supported by like a relocation issue, because it's a crisis management in theory, so internally as well. So somebody happening. So that's also we are working on that. And yes, silently people are working who are arrested, family supported to family who are arrested, and then supported to some cause for like a legal cause or lawyer causes, or to help for the family who are arrested relating with this NGO community member, and then for politician community. So that's we have some of the legal group, also lawyer, also they make a team and they took the budget from different international NGO or embassy to support to their legal consultant and to legal trial, observation issue, so that they also raising fund themselves. So that's also common currently people are working on. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Myo Win. Well, time is almost running out. there have been also some issues that have been raised in the chat box. But I think, yeah, I think most of the well, there's this one question from Firdaus. He's saying that with the recent development in the U.S. presidential election, what is perhaps the concern fear for displaced Burmese in America regarding America's possible new migration policy? And then he's asking, do you think the future policy, or as you say, the fact that they don't know what Burma is affects the peaceful ultimate resolution of the crisis? What do you think, Myoin?
I think, yes, this is, I already spoke before I started
Yeah.
for this meeting, that I noticed that, yes, people of the asylum seeker and with fear, and people of TPS, people live with TPS, temporary protected status, with fear, and people are already granted for like a different application, but they are, green card processes fear because of previous 5 years of the Trump administration. 0 asylum case are considered. So 5 year, he paused it, and Biden came, Biden take it. So even in, member of parliament who are Rohingya, who flee in 2016, I think that is under the Trump administration, he applied the asylum until he finished his term, his asylum never be reviewed. He didn't get any appointment. So not only him, but also many people globally, he's paused, no interview and nothing. So Biden administration started all the previous case he is handling and long process, and then for now new applicant also long waited. So I don't know his policy is like TPS definitely will be challenged. He will be ended for TPS. So maybe people who live TPS, I don't know they will be deportation or not. But anyway, so that's the bit fear. And another, but that they can change for asylum process. Yes, of course. Asylum process is like no problem, but asylum process is also so long, and and his previous administration not handling this, just pause. You can apply, you will get the receipt, and then that's all. You live. You will get for work permit, 5 year work permit, So working, they call the EAD, employment authorization, something, work authorization, sorry. So that 5 year they will provide it to you. So you work in that, and you have 5 year. I don't know how many, some people said 6 years, 7 year, they have never ended. So directly fear, that's, and I don't know his 2025 project is like, how affect for the community, like people from crisis country, like Burma, like Myanmar. So that's many people fear. And yes, many experts also talk about that for his immigration policy is a little bit, not encouraged to the people to be, so he's very negative settlement for the, migrant people. So so I don't know, he will maybe change, his mind. I don't, maybe, because when I noticed his, speech in yesterday morning after he win reserve, he little bit better speech compared with his campaign speech, So for the like we thought that he is like anti-Muslim, anti, because Muslim ban, he is officially done his time, So he talk about that American Muslim, American Arab, Arab American, Arab African, Arab Asian American. He included some of the works. So he little bit changed his tones, his voice, his usage, but compared with previous, So, but I don't know, but I'm not really, my capacity is not enough, to bet. Reality, people have fear. I can say it's like Burmese people who live TPS, who live asylum, who is applying process asylum. But in his term, he also delayed for previous term. Many people said that even though green card eligibility, people are applying the green card. Normally, green card issue within 1 year after application. But in his time, sometimes 2 year, 3 year waited. I don't know what happened, but I'm not expert on the legal issue in this country. But many people, peer learning, many people who share their own experience, But people, Obama period not so long, and then non-binding administration. Normally, if you are eligible for green card, you will get it within 6 to 8 months. So that is like maximum 8 months, something. So, but in his time, 2 year, too much review and very rigid policy and rigid, bureaucracy. And I don't know, but that's a bit fear. I like to be responding that, and maybe we are thinking always, pessimistic, but maybe optimistic view, maybe a lot of relax. He can be, a lot of his advocacy, different people have maybe advocacy campaign, to him, I don't know, maybe it will be better. I don't know, but people have fear. Yes.
All right, thank you, Myo-Win. Any inputs from our American friends in the group about this? No?
Right.
Well,
Please.
yeah,
Yes, Ma'am McDonald, please.
practically speaking, President Biden is still our president until January the 20th. So everything is in the open for the moment. You can dream of anything and it may happen or it may not happen. What happens now with regard to Mr. Trump is that he is putting together the new administration. So you said that he spoke very nicely yesterday. Yes, he speaks very nicely when he is a winner. When he is on the losing streak, he is changing his vocabulary very much. So that's another thing. But I think we have to wait until we know who will be our foreign minister, secretary of state, or who will be. He wants to eliminate a number of organizations and institutions in the country. We don't know. We don't know. I know as much as you do. And of course, we have hopes. When you talk about the majority, you mentioned this word in the elections, the majority now, Trump. The majority is a word which makes me think of it's 30 to 50 or something like that. It is really 50, almost 50-50. It's one half. And so is there really a majority? I cannot say. It may be just a few votes more than otherwise. So I think we have to wait to see who the different people are who are getting the jobs. And after that, I'm glad that we had a very gracious concession by Mrs. Harris. It was very peaceful that we do not seem to have to worry about a big revolution on the 20th of January. Mr. Biden is going to move voluntarily out of the White House, and Mr. Trump can move in. We don't know. But I also think we have to think positively and just wait what is going to happen. And then we can take action instead of getting all wired up already to do something. We have to wait. Who is going to, in what role in the government, what happens to the environment, what happens to the immigration policies. Mr. Trump made a lot of promises for things he will change on the first day. So let's wait for the first day.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Perhaps the other Crystal has something else to add. We are all a little bit in shock. So for the moment, we wait.
Yeah, I think what I have to add is to say when we say the majority, what it sounds like he didn't have the turnout that he had in previous elections. So that's something to keep in mind. Then I think it's also we need to analyze why people voted for him, because I think the Gaza war had definitely some impact, as has Puerto Rico. So who voted for who and why did they do it? I think a lot of it is based on the economy. So people are worried about, rising food prices. They're worried about not being able to make a living, not being able to have housing and paying their bills. And those are justified. Can Trump deliver to that? That remains to be seen. The other thing that I wanted to say is, because I have a governmental background, so my big concern are actually last time when he came in, there were oversight, there were checks and balances in place, and he eroded those. And I'm not so sure they are there today as they were back then. So I'm a little bit, on a personal level, I'm a little bit worried about that. So, and, especially as Crystal mentioned, if they have the presidency, they have the Senate, House, maybe, but also the Supreme Court, what are they capable of? So a lot of us actually are living in fear, not imagined fear, but I would say realistic fear.
And also right now, there are two other issues. He had already said that he wants to put tariffs on all imports. And already this morning, I heard several comments about that, because if he puts tariffs on everything we import from a lot of other countries, that can only raise the prices for the products which the American people need. So I don't know where that idea is going to go. The second thing which is happening, and this is now in Germany, that Germany has just lost its finance minister. The tripartite government is falling apart. Germany is thinking about new elections I think in January or in March of 2025. So a lot of things are happening around the world, which will have an impact on what Mr. Trump can come up with and which is successful. Unfortunately, he doesn't know any borders. I don't mean physical country borders, other borders are unknown. So we can only hope for the best for the moment and have to stay smiling.
Yes, I think that's a good time to end. And like Mrs. McDonald said, let's wait until January. And in the meantime, celebrate maybe our last good Christmas this year. But anyway, Myo-Win, thank you, for your time, for your presentation today. It's very informative as usual. And we are glad that you are in the US and not in Myanmar with what's going on in Myanmar. But I hope that, your stay in the US will also be good, in the near future and the long future. Any hopes, any plans of going back home yet? I don't think so, right?
I not yet, because I have to be here 2-year commitment for
Okay, good.
university.
So we're glad you're there. I think it's safer over there, for the time being. Worst come to worst, you can always come to Malaysia. I can be your host here. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
let me say that where Mia is he has traded the region. He used to be in Oklahoma, where he had snow and ice and tornadoes, mostly tornadoes. And now he is in beautiful Binghamton and upstate New York. I just drove up to Vermont. The leaves are beautiful, colorful, and he will have a lot of snow probably, but no tornadoes up there very much. So.
Yes.
But Oklahoma is not too bad. I used to live in Texas for 6 years. Border to Oklahoma. It wasn't bad at all. But anyway, thank you again, Myo-Win, and thank you all for participating in the discussion. I'll give it back to our host, Professor Sung Ho, please.
Thank you, Jam. Okay, and thank you again, Myo-In, for your presentation. You are near New York City. It means that the time is almost the same as to the Christelle and Dr. Gopin. All of your time, November 3rd, the change of time, right? Summertime is over, and you got up around 6:30, right? Okay, it's such a so early, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I admire you, okay. Your commitment, okay, really, to every, our Thursday forum, particularly the Christelle McDonald, okay, Madam McDonald, and Dr. Goffin, you are luckily today you are available, right? Today your class is overlap with my time, okay. Okay. Also, thank you, all members, okay, all participants, staying here with us, and for your, Q&A time and discussion. Okay. Maybe I expect maybe updates next year. Okay, Mr. Nguyen will maybe if you are ready, welcome you, and. Next Thursday forum, I already mentioned 20th this time, and 121st, okay, first our Thursday forum. At the beginning of this second session, okay, my committee, okay, Thursday forum committee, we discussed online, setting our agendas, and they recommend the Middle East issue is very, very important, right? And we needed to understand it. And that's why I chose the topic, Middle East conflict and the peace building efforts, okay, tentative topic. And I contacted, my members, and also Madam Christelle McDonald. I discussed it, and they, they recommended prospective speakers. But the first speaker was confirmed, okay, luckily, 2 weeks later, okay, November 21st. Professor Miki Oishi recommended a wonderful specialist in Middle East, okay, issues. His colleague, okay, Dr. Muath, my pronunciation, Halil Amari, something like that. Okay, the senior lecturer at Al-Bukhari International University. Okay, Mikio, Professor Mikio, and Professor Ayesha, your colleague. Okay, your colleague. He confirmed. I already last night. I communicated with him. I wrote a letter, and I'm waiting for his. Some response. Okay, so, and also I discussed it with the Christelle McDonald, and also I received another recommendation, but I will invite the specialist to next forum as a discussant, okay, for the more live discussion, okay, some from different the places. So. Next, 2 weeks later, November 21st, our 121st, okay, the occasion, a Global Thursday Forum, a very important issue, Middle East, okay, issue. So I hope if you are available, you are cordially welcome, okay? So hope to see you next week. And today, thank you again, and have a nice, time, good day, okay, from the States, and good night, okay, many Asian friends, okay, here. Okay, everybody stay healthy, and
Good
take
night.
good care,
See you
okay.
in 2 weeks' time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Moyen, okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.